In the past, I've covered multiple different creepypastas from different franchises that range from Mortal Kombat to Plants vs Zombies to SML, but there's one more that I would like to cover, and that's Fortnite creepypastas. Now, not too long ago, I made a video about Fortnite's Forgotten Horror, which did really well, so why not continue with the Fortnite horror thing that isn't just shitty horror maps? So that's what I'll be talking about today, the weird and wacky world of Fortnite creepypastas. And yes, I will be talking about the one Fortnite creepypasta. You know which one I'm talking about. But before we begin, may I ask you like, comment your favorite Fortnite creepypasta, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Alright, now without further ado, let's begin. So before I summarize and review these creepypastas, I want to state that I am not endorsing hate towards any YouTuber or writer mentioned in this video. I forgot to mention that in my last few creepypasta videos, and I just want to say that for PR reasons. Yeah, like I of all people have a PR team. Okay, so first creepypasta, or well, a whole YouTube channel dedicated to Fortnite creepypastas and some others, is a channel known as Flip the Script. And boy, oh boy, this channel really does bring me back to much simpler times. Flip the Script has a ton of Fortnite related creepypastas, and as really bad as they are, they have a sort of charm to them, especially with how Flip the Script himself narrates them. Though, before I do talk about these, just know that these stories are more ironic than scary. In Flip the Script's channel bio, he says it's mainly for jokes and to entertain. And in it, he says he's married and is retired, and now only does this as a hobby. But hey, good for him. Hope everything goes well for him in his life. I'll only be covering like 2 Flip the Script Fortnite creepypastas in this video, as there's much more that I want to talk about outside of his channel. First up, I want to talk about That's Not Midas. So the story begins with the narrator, who I'm just going to refer to as John. John talks about Midas and how Midas has a different style. Well, not one that he knew about until this match. Which, for reference, this story takes place in Chapter 2 Season 2, Top Secret. John goes on to talk about how him and his friends were squatted up and winning games non-stop, and going to the agency more and more. But this match, they noticed that the henchmen were way more aggressive and instigating than usual. John lands at the agency, killing the minigun henchmen, but then noticing the lack of gunfire, despite the fact that there was 97 people left. And didn't John say the guards were more aggressive than usual? John and his friends continued to play, but then he looks out one of the windows and sees someone challenge Midas, then seeing him kill the player. As John got closer, he saw that this Midas had longer hair, he was platinum instead of gold, and fully black eyes. This Midas gets John to 1 HP within the matter of a second, and John freaks out and tries regrouping with his friends. But then he hears Midas talk, saying,
"We'll kill you."
John tries talking to his team, but gets no response, and sees in the kill feed that one of his friends are knocked down by Midas, but John was still being chased by Midas. So how would that have happened? The other 2 friends tried talking to John, but their mics sound super buggy and all he could understand was the word fault, before getting knocked down by Midas. John escapes to the basement vault and gets Midas off his trail, and seeing his friend's reboot cards there. So he collects them, but is then shot at by the actual Midas. Then the not Midas came by and killed the regular Midas, and in the kill feed it says, "The true Midas has eliminated the false Midas." Now with a closer look, John can see that this Midas has a platinum drum gun with jewels embedded onto it. Then the true Midas looked at John and said,
"All hail the true leader. The true Midas. Never return to my agency again, or else."
After that, John and his friends never went back, and John refused to play Fortnite until Midas was gone. That's the end of that creepypasta. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of this one, as some things don't add up and the true Midas being a little corny. The story, much like most of other Flip the Script creepypasta videos, are very short, averaging only about 4 to 6 minutes long, which can either make or break a creepypasta. If it's short, it's more than likely it's going to be pretty bad. But that doesn't necessarily mean a short creepypasta can't be good. I've read my fair share of pretty good short creepypastas. That's Not Midas though, is not one of them. In my opinion, it feels too on the nose and it doesn't really do that good of a job of being creepy. Now look, I know this is a Fortnite creepypasta of all things, so it's obviously not going to be as good as something like Ben Drowned. I don't have much else to say about this, other than it being not that good. So let's move on. So this next one is pretty short, and much like the Mortal Kombat creepypastas video I made a while back, the short one is the really bad one. Since it's so short, I'll be reading it directly off the wiki. This Fortnite creepypasta is called I'm Back. It feels like it's yesterday. We are playing Season 3, but I mean first Season 3, not that flooded garbage. First Season 3 T space, now this Season 3, now we have water, nice job. In 2018, I have a friend named Benjamin, who always play Fortnite together, but what happened to him? Well, I answered to him later. This Season 3 was boring, and I missed Benjamin, which he died after Season 3. My parents decided to took me to Benjamin's place where he lived, and I intended in his... What? And I intended for his funeral. My first time seeing him, which he had black hair, plastic. Well, I didn't have friends after Benjamin died. At Fortnite, I was messing in my locker when I saw the glider said, "Remember the time while time..." What? When I start the solo and I open the glider until it rewind when I saw the second world flooded, the old world was coming back. Season X 9 8 7 6 5 4 3. The rewind has stopped, but someone was gliding with me. I have a dubs partner? It was Benjamin's gamer tag. "Is that really you, Benjamin?" I said, but Benjamin said, "Let's not talk about it right now." We landed, which it's been years, and we enter Tomato Town. The storm was coming and he can no talk until we kill the final team, and we win. I asked him, "What happened now?" Benjamin said to me, "It isn't your time yet. There's still plenty more time for you, and now it's time to you to go back." Then I woke up to my family all around me in the hospital bed. I don't know, I have a mental breakdown or what, but they tell me I jump out a building, but it can't be right. I know he was right there. They are the crazy ones, not me. Okay. Either this was made by an actual 4-year-old or it's just one big satire. Look, I'm not one to dunk on someone's writing, especially when they're just starting out. But word of advice, make sure you check your grammar and punctuation before posting your stories online. I'm Back read like one of those troll pastas you hear Hoodlum Hood's Revenge narrate in a top 5 or top 10 terrible creepypastas video. There's not much else I can say about this one, so let's move on. This next Fortnite creepypasta is called Season 0. The story starts with our protagonist, who I'll call Michael, signing up to try out the beta for Fortnite Battle Royale, then getting a physical copy of the game delivered to their door. Now, Michael was a big fan of Battle Royale games, so he was pretty excited to hop onto this brand spanking new Battle Royale game. He pops a disc into his console and starts playing, but unfortunately for Michael, the game was really buggy and poorly made. But Michael ignored it and checked out the Season 0 Battle Pass. The skins in it though had red eyes and looked like they were straight out of a horror game. Michael then decided to play the game, but something was off about it. Whenever he killed somebody, it had blood and screaming and didn't have the basic blue cube effect we have now. But when Michael won the game, he realized he was sent a link with a list of other winners, with comments about how they all had fun. But turns out all of these players were reported missing, so Michael did some research and found out that the employee that made this was actually fired and the beta test was quickly removed. Now look, I'm gonna be honest with you, this did not feel like an actual creepypasta. The only really scary thing about this was that someone actually sat down and wasted their time writing a creepypasta that doesn't feel like a creepypasta. This one suffers from the tropes of the buggy game, scary skins with red eyes, hyper-realistic screaming sounds, and the employee who made this getting fired. Frankly, I think what would make this better were to have more explanation with what happened in the game. I think maybe if the writer wrote in some sort of like scary monster hunting them and brutalizing players. Or maybe some kind of phantom pain thing where the protagonist would feel the gunshots hit them, and then ended off with him being found dead with multiple gunshot wounds. I feel like this one had a lot of potential, but frankly it got taken away by the gang of tropes. Next up is the one that you've all been waiting for, and that's Fortnite Deep Web Last Rite. And yes, it's the one you're thinking of. The story starts with our protagonist, who I'll name Mike, complaining about how he doesn't like Fortnite. But then he turns around and starts talking about how Fortnite took over his life and his wallet. Me too, man. Me too. Mike then talks about his Fortnite guild he set up, which eventually built a big following, as in like 100 or so people, until someone named Mr. Gruesome 666 joined. Mike talks about him and Dr. Gruesome play duos every day, and he was actually a really cracked player, so any sort of weird thing that Dr. Gruesome did, Mike just looked past it, because well, he was cracked at Fortnite, my guy. DG, who I'll call Dr. Gruesome for now, told Mike he would be leaving, but that made Mike sad, so DG asked him about the deep web and told him about some hacked version of Fortnite on there. So Mike joins in and notices differences with this version of the game. Everything was more sinister, the skins were creepier, and the map locations were changed. Like, Dusty Divot was now Bloody Wound, Pleasant Park was now Agony Avenue, and Risky Reels was called Rapper's Thrills. Now, I'm not going to say the actual name of it because I'll get demonetized, but if you put 2 and 2 together, you can decipher what this is. This one detail is probably the only thing someone thinks about when you bring up Fortnite creepypastas to them. Frankly, the reason why I'm making this video is because I saw a TikTok of that one scene where Dexter is telling the kids the campfire story, but this part of the story was playing over it, and that immediately turned on a light bulb in my head. Anyways, back to the creepypasta. DG also told Mike about his favorite skin. The Abortionist, with a dead fetus back bling. And the skin even had a built-in emote where he would... How can I say this while staying family friendly? Caressing his goo gun until he shot it out. You know what? I'm done. This creepypasta is stupid. It's not even worth the time to finish it. You want to hear the rest? Go watch Mad Max's 66 reading of it. Because I sure as hell am not finishing this. This is bullshit. I hate it. Okay. Now, obviously from my reaction, you could probably tell that I really don't like this creepypasta, and me dropping it halfway through was both me not liking it and me having to get this video out as soon as possible because I'm already way behind schedule, and I don't feel like sitting through an extra 2 hours of editing a stupid section for a creepypasta. Last Rite falls under a lot, and I mean a lot, of basic tropes. From the very beginning it feels generic, and really the only thing holding this creepypasta up is the downright absurd Risky Reels rename and its semi-predicting built-in emotes. Anyways, I'm done with this creepypasta. Let's move on. Okay, now the final creepypasta is actually one that I have some connection to. It was the first Fortnite creepypasta I remember watching and is one of my personal favorite Fortnite creepypastas. This creepypasta in question is Red Team Leader. Now, there's more than a few parts to Red Team Leader, but I only want to cover the first part as I think you should go watch and listen to Flip the Script's reading of this. The story starts with the narrator, who I'll call Jim for now, talking about how the Cuddle Team Leader was only in the shop for an hour, and how he had to take advantage of this because he collected all the legendary skins. He bought the skin and wore it, but he noticed that the Cuddle Team Leader was red instead of her usual pink. Loading into a match, he hears a bear growl, but he didn't think of it. He lands at Dusty Divot and starts fighting other players. Then Jim notices that the Cuddle Team Leader skin was actually pink now. But after getting the 2 kills at Dusty Divot, he notices the skin becoming a dark shade of red with each kill. He kills another guy, a John Wick to be exact. This gave him some pretty good loot, and so he decides to go and harvest some more materials. Then he gets shot at, but Jim builds a ramp and kills the enemy. And of course, the skin became a darker red. Then at 15 players left, the storm closes in at Haunted Hills, and so Jim runs there, fighting a few more players along the way, and his skin getting redder and redder. Then at 4 players, Jim builds up a fort and defends it like his life depended on it. Seeing more players fighting, Jim takes this as a chance to engage with the fight, taking out a few more until 1 guy is left. This guy is knocked down, not eliminated, even though that he was playing solos. Then the character starts moving, but without Jim controlling her, and the Red Team Leader goes up to the knocked guy and does an emote called Chopping Block, where she took out an axe and cut the downed enemy's head off. And then the victory screen pops up, and now Cuddle Team Leader is the bright red color that she was earlier in the lobby, and then let out a giant roar. Red Team Leader then took off the mask, and she had 1 eye missing with a gunshot wound and a smile forced with cuts on her face. This is where the creepypasta ends, and honestly, I kinda liked it. I may be having bias here, but this one was by far my most favorite one in this whole video. I actually binge watched the rest of the series just because, and I honestly recommend you do too. It's cheesy of course, but it's still pretty good. It's definitely better than Last Right, that's for sure. Alright, well, I think that's where I'm going to be ending today's video off. If you like this video and want to see more like this, then like, comment your favorite gaming creepypasta, and subscribe to keep me in the algorithm. And finally, I hope you have a great day or night, wherever you are. Bye!